Hey folks, sorry for the bad hair day. Anyway, in this video, I want to talk about the differences between different headphone driver materials. So for different headphones, you have different driver materials. Like for instance, the Audioquest Nightowls here have a biocellulose driver. The Sony MDR Z1Rs have an aluminum magnesium driver. The Focal Utopias also have an aluminum neodymium driver. Actually, not aluminum. I don't know if it's aluminum, but I know it has beryllium. That's what it is. That's the word I was looking for, beryllium. The Focal Clear has an aluminum magnesium driver. I'm not sure what the Sennheiser is, but I believe the Sennheiser has some metal in it as well. Then you have planar dynamic drivers. Planar dynamic drivers are like the Odysseys, Hi-Fi Man, and many others as well. And that's a bit of a different technology. That's not like a speaker in the ear. That's more of a thin membrane with magnets, and it just moves that membrane. But they all sound a little bit different, and especially like on a micro level, as you get into it and you kind of compare the different headphones, you will probably come to determine what you prefer. And in just my listening tests, I'll just like to go over a little bit of the differences from what I hear in terms of the different headphone driver materials. My two favorite headphone driver materials are planar dynamic, which is again in the Odyssey headphones, and biocellulose. Biocellulose is not used as often these days, although it is used in the Audioquest Nightowls and probably a few others. It was also used in the now discontinued many years ago in the Sony I think it was the R10 headphones. But the biocellulose driver to me sounds kind of like smooth and the most natural. It's almost like a paper, sort of a mixture between paper fabric, and maybe it's made with like raw materials like cotton and things like that. So it tends to have the highs tend to not be as strident. Tends to be a nice natural and smooth kind of sound signature. So I really like that. Same thing with the planar magnetic. Let me show those to you here, just so you have a visual. The planar magnetic drivers on the Odyssey LCD4Zs or any of the Odyssey headphones also sound very smooth. One of the things about the planar magnetic or planar dynamic drivers is they have a real extreme lack of distortion. They're very different. Unlike just having like a speaker in there, it's not really a speaker, as I mentioned, it's a membrane. So it's a whole different technology. Headphones that have a dynamic driver actually have like a speaker there by your ears, and speakers just inherently have resonances. They can be very peaky at certain frequencies, especially in the highs, just by the design of the speaker. So it's kind of sometimes hard to make up for that and compensate for that. And also, when you talk about the driver materials, for instance, in the Sonys, which is the aluminum magnesium driver, and the Sony Z1Rs, what they have to do is around the ear cup, they have to put paper, that washi paper that I've talked about in my review, sort of around the driver to help absorb a lot of the strident highs. But if you listen really carefully, the Z1Rs still have a little bit of a peaky high. Not as bad as some other headphones, but I think around 6 kilohertz, 6,000 hertz. There's a little bit of a peaky high there, and if you listen very carefully and you compare them with other headphones, like compare the Z1Rs to the 4Zs or to the Nightowls, in the highs you can kind of hear that peak. You can hear that metallic sound a bit, and if you kind of train your ear and you kind of get used to it, kind of train your ear to be able to hear this stuff, you can kind of hear that metallic sound. It's sort of the same type of sound that I heard in the HD800 series, the Sennheiser HD800s and HD800Ss. The highs just tend to have a little bit of a metallic ring to them, a metallic kind of a tinge. And I believe, the driver material has a lot to do with that. And these are the kind of things that as you really get into headphones and sort of start playing that headphone game, you start realizing or you start hearing for yourself and figuring out what you prefer in terms of the sound. So I much prefer, as I've mentioned in pretty much all my videos, a sort of smoother sound signature. I'm pretty treble sensitive and I don't really like strident treble. So that's why I tend to try to avoid headphones that have the metal driver material, which are most dynamic headphones actually. I don't know of a lot of dynamic headphones that have the driver, a traditional driver that don't have metal, kind of in there. Let's see, I'm seeing a couple of comments here. JD asks, is Focal the only company that uses beryllium? That's a good question. I'm actually not sure. I believe there might be others, but beryllium is very hard to manufacture in a speaker driver, and also very dangerous. And so it's kind of a very specialized process that Focal has kind of come to be very good at. They also have beryllium in some of their high-end speakers as well. I believe like the Grand Utopias and the Utopia series of speakers. So as far as I know, they probably are, but there might be others. Let's see, what other headphone driver materials are out there that I haven't mentioned? I can't really think of any. You have headphones. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, even different weird esoteric headphones will probably have one of those kind of driver material. Either a regular kind of speaker that's going to have some metal in it, a planar dynamic driver, which is going to have a thin mylar membrane, or a biocellulose driver, which is the biocellulose driver is like a normal speaker, but instead of having like the metal as part of the driver, it's going to have the biocellulose material, which is almost kind of like a fabric or a cotton. Let's see. Brian LP says the biodynamic DT48 uses aluminum drivers. Yeah, so headphones like that have the aluminum, or have aluminum magnesium, or have aluminum with beryllium, all those to me in the highs just have that little bit of a tinge to them, a metallic sound in the highs. And I can really hear it, like, for instance, if you listen to heavy metal and you hear like the guitars, in some ways that helps for heavy metal. I mean, you'll hear the guitars and it'll sound like very metallic, and you really want that actually for certain kinds of music. But in just general overall terms, I think that for me, I prefer smoother sound signature, and the different headphone driver materials do kind of make a difference there. So anyway, I just wanted to do this kind of short video, and kind of following up on my last video where I talked about the ear pad materials. When you're considering different headphones, you do definitely want to consider what they're made out of, what the drivers are made out of. That makes a big difference in this way that the headphones are going to sound on a micro level. Now, when you go and listen to headphones like at a show or in a store or something like that, and you just put them on, you may not notice that right away because you don't have other things to compare them to. You're not in your home environment. You may not be listening to a track that you're really familiar with. But when you really start getting into it and listening very intently, these are things that you're going to hear. Now, in a subsequent upcoming video, I'm going to talk about ear cup material, and that's actually the material that surrounds the driver on the back of the driver. That again is something to pay attention to when you're looking at different headphones as well, and that makes a difference as well. So that would be for another video. Anyway, any questions, comments, feedback, please feel free to leave them. If you're not subscribed, please go ahead and click that subscribe button, and then also click the bell button as well. That way you can get a notification anytime I publish a new video. And go ahead and smash the thumbs up as well. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. And I guess have a great rest of your weekend. See ya.